So. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so we'll start with approval of minutes. I think we have a couple of months or 3.
Well, March, we had the special.
The special
as
meeting,
well.
okay. So, did you get a chance to look at those and get those signed?
Yes, they're all signed.
Okay. Take a motion.
I motion to approve the minutes. From
River.
March 25th, April 15th.
April 15th, 2024.
I'll second.
Okay,
It's easier to second.
all in favor? Okay, great. Treasurer's report.
We have the budgeted worksheet showing we've collected for the year $164,395.64 in innkeeper's tax. So the April was indeed well, I don't think any other April can even close. What was the closest? The closest was maybe 39,000. So we probably got some picking up of what was lacking in the first 3 months. So for the 4 months of this year compared with the 4 months of last year, we're exceeding that. Made up everything that we were not making in the first 3 months. So that just the budget sheet just shows that we've what we've got obligated in the budget, what we've spent in the budget. Right now, we're gonna keep bringing in innkeeper's tax, but we just don't have any to transfer at the moment. We're a bit under, but the auditor's office is okay with that since they know more funding is coming in. So we do have 3 claims. 2 of them we've pretty much improved prior, or 3 really. So we have the Madison Music Movement request for their grant. We have the Flag for the Flag or National Boat Racing Heritage Center. That did come in on the 16th, the day after our last meeting, so we'll get that. And then there's the operations request for VMI, which is for the contract. And then marketing for this year, or for this month, was $30,742.22.
I move to approve those.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, any further discussion? No, you guys?
Do we think there's anything that attributed to such an increase? I mean, because that's great news. And I think it's amazing that year over year for the first 4 months, we are higher. We're just sitting here running the numbers. Is there anything that we think like may have contributed to that?
I was looking at the STAR report, it looks like higher ADR. So even though occupancy, at least in the hotels that are reported, occupancy is down slightly this year to date, but ADR is up, something like 7%, even though occupancy is down about 3%. So I think that higher ADR is pushing the innkeeper's collections up,
The year over year ADR is up 7%, but occupancy, how much is occupancy down?
down about 3%.
Okay.
So I'm trying, it's things, it's like I can see some of these pieces and I'm trying to piece together some of them because we still have the full picture. But that's what I'm surmising.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that's considerable. I mean, considerably higher year over year.
Do you think that, I mean, last year it looked like in May, we got a 73,000. Was that a makeup too from previous months? So last year it's gonna look like it's down, but it's really,
Right.
Yeah,
so we'll be able to see how it balances out.
I just think everything was the first 3 months go lower, and then we get off like this. We're like,
Yeah.
That disappears. Now
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
on the other way.
Yeah.
Good trend.
Partnerships and projects. We have Regatta here. So we will give you guys the floor.
We don't have to stand up. Or
You do, you actually have to do a dance.
I think everyone knows why we're here. We're applying for the $25,000 grant we got last year. We don't have it again this year. I'm sure you all have questions on where that money goes, what we intend to do with it, and what we have done with it. All of your market, or all of your dollars for us doing the marketing, we feel like that's the best way to give it back to the county and tourism. This past year, we have some numbers that we can share, for anyone that has that request, but all of our marketing from you all went to the boat show in Louisville, which cost us probably all said and done about $9 grand altogether. What, do you have the attendance numbers in front of you, Kyle?
Yeah.
But that was a huge hitter for both us and HydroFest. We split that with HydroFest, and I think it's important to note that we didn't just go market Rooster Tail and Regatta. We came down here and we got pamphlets from everything from BMI, and we marketed the whole town free of charge to all the other. The other big segment that we spent on was online marketing. I think we're deeper into that than any of the other festivals. We have a company called A1 Media, and all the videos that you see when you scroll Facebook or you're on Amazon, those advertisements that you get, that's what we're invested in. I think we spent 15,000 this year in that. It's targeted advertising. So, we're not marketing to 8-year-olds at this point. It's all people who would be interested in our form of music or our form of racing. They get video clips. We get reports on pull from those ads when people click on it, and then we get another report on how many people buy tickets. I think last year, Andrew was just sharing with us on the updated Pacer data that we were actually up last year. And we were up money-wise last year, even though we shut the gates down the whole day due to weather. We made that decision to allow our vendors to make money because we didn't think anyone was gonna come down and buy a ticket when there were thunderstorms and they needed to get paid. So we opened the gates and we still came out in the black. So we think our marketing plan is solid and we're investing more heavily in it this year. Our number for our budget for marketing was what, 35, 40 grand, something like that? $40,000. So again, we're pushing hard. We're pulling a boat around everywhere. That takes fuel, time, and resources from all of our people. We have pamphlets that are going to the 3 major cities all the way around us, Louisville, Indy, and Cincinnati. I'm in Cincy every weekend marketing for us. The other thing that it's not really your all's dollars going directly to it, but you freeing up our marketing allows us to do this, is we are expanding our infrastructure to help all the other events. Right now, we're talking with Andrew on this local internet thing, and rather than us invest $10,000 in portable internet to run our system, we're trying to put that money into the city system so everyone can utilize it. We're not really asking anything back because we're already spending the money. We'd rather invest and let everyone get a piece of that. We're also looking at ice chests and a few other things for the other events to share with us to make them more self-sufficient. I think there was one more, Kyle, but maybe I'm missing one that we're trying to do for everyone. It's a lot going on in 2024. So that's kind of a review of where we're spending money and your advertising dollars going to work. I think it's been very effective. We've seen some things that weren't so effective that we quit doing. I don't know, we're way up. It's a lot of positive. This isn't the same old Regatta that this town saw for 2 decades. Kyle comes in as president in September and he's got even bigger ideas than I ever had. He's probably gonna do a far better job, but it's on the same track of positivity. And then his dad's coming in behind him. I'm excited about our future and we look forward to working with you all and hopefully getting some money from you too.
What was your attendance last year?
It's hard to say with the way we dropped the gates. I believe we were about 5,000 over the year before. The concert picked up more than the boat race with our talent acquisition. We took a real gamble this year and we're not really sure if it's gonna pay off yet. but we took a huge jump in our budget from like 160,000 to about 235. I don't think we spent all that budget, but the idea is just to keep raking people in. I think all our hotels are already packed. You would know better than I would, but I need you guys to build some more hotels. More, we've packed them all out. We need a few more.
We're gonna build a campground, dude.
There you go,
Mhm.
yeah.
Any questions or comments?
How much longer are you gonna have support from this board?
Well, I know there's a push from you all for all your events to be self-sufficient,
Mhm.
but really our ask from you all is such a small part of, I mean, we're $1 million event now. And we're asking for 25,000. And I think if, like, listening to your reports, I'm probably gonna sound arrogant when I say this, but what's the innkeeper's tax look like in July? Like, I feel like we give more back than we're asking for. I would ask you all for a long-term investment, whether it be more or less, but I mean, we're the powerhouse of festivals. I feel like we're bringing a lot of attendance, not only our week and our weekend, but I think we're seeing a lot of return people from these events. So I would ask that you all continue to invest in us so we can keep investing forward.
Well, I think the overall reaching theme is for it. Regatta to be self-sufficient, all of our events to be self-sufficient and sustainable so that we can continue to create events and utilize marketing dollars for other events and things that maybe aren't in the works as of yet. I think something that's interesting with Regatta, because it is a powerhouse with the event being, the Friday, Saturday sold out rooms. I think we all know, there's many hoteliers at this table. That is a great room rate that we get. And, also we're always going to be sold out, but how can we expand that? I mean, maybe take the week even deeper so that it can be a higher return on occupancy tax. Like, is there something that we can do to promote Regatta for a whole week versus just, a
Way
week
ahead of
event? Cool.
We actually, last year we did the balloon glow because of weather after the fact. This year we're bringing it in beforehand. I would be very curious to see what it has done to the hotel. I would think as long as we keep doing that in the future, because anyone that was there last year, it was huge. It might have been the third biggest event that we had. Like, people were lined up all the way back. I never thought it would be that big when Kim Washer pitched it to us, and me and Kyle were. But we would like to keep adding events. I've spoken with Andrew before and several others that we would like to have smaller events throughout. We also added Madison Has Talent, if anyone has seen that this year. Trying to get the community more involved. So we are very much trying to expand. We don't want just a handout of money every year to keep doing the same thing and same thing. We want to add and get bigger. And I mean, in the future, the next 2 years, maybe we have a huge name down here in Bicentennial, and maybe you can charge a lot more for rooms. I mean, that's the idea, is growth.
Yeah.
I can't stand stagnance.
Yeah, well, that really speaks to one of the discussions that we had in reviewing the grant request was, yes, we want the events to be self-sustaining, but when an event's doing something new that they haven't done before, that kind of sets the clock back. And so that's one of the things that we're looking at is just what you just said. If you do the same thing year after year after year, it gets stagnant. If you are adding or changing, trying something new, that creates an opportunity for a new clock, so to speak.
Yeah, the continued growth and ingenuity, I think, is where we'd like to see a lot of the dollars being spent. So I think that's great.
And if you all have any suggestions for us, we're all ears. We're only a handful of people coming up with that. Luckily, we have a lot of new blood in Kyle and myself that came from different areas and run 2 separate businesses. And like, hey guys, we should be doing this. Like, when I came on, we didn't have card sales. We were cash and check only. And now we have, 11 months of pre-sales online and tiered pricing. And we've come a long way, and it's with your all's help. When someone first told me we could get money from the Board of Trade, I'm like, what? Someone's going to help us? Because we were drowning. But again, your continued support is valued. We will continue to grow as long as we stay on this trajectory as an elected board. You never know what's gonna happen in 10 years, but I think we've done a lot of repair work to our relationships in the community, to our infrastructure inside, and we've come a long way, and we'd like to continue.
I think that the important thing also is, like you said, some things that you can invest in. Just like we did with the internet, being able to rent that out, you're saying Ice Chef, there's all these things that the festivals across the board can
Well,
use, so
that's where
that's
these
very
events-
important.
That's where these festivals get torn apart.
It's
The
a little
big dollar
bit of that.
spends are so easy to calculate and predict, and we sit in our boardrooms and we go over the budget. And then 3 weeks out, it's, 400 feet of extension cords that no one thought of, and ice chests and water. And and it burns you up so fast that it can run an event under.
Yes.
Just to piggyback a little bit on what you were saying earlier with, trying to get people in midweek. I know there's a lot, you have this sold out Friday, Saturday. I don't know how something like this would be possible. There's a lot of people who still want to come to the event and stay in Madison. I don't know if there's a way to do like a midweek mini regatta, you know what I mean? Like, really try to capture those people who aren't able maybe to spend the money, but they still want some of that experience.
I don't know that it's impossible. We did get approached about having a full second race at one time, and at our current, I know I'm tired. Kyle's known me for a few years now, and there's a drastic difference in my energy level of year one as year four. You can only take so much, and I don't know that my board has the capacity to run 2 full races. But with some interesting things that GP and HRL are doing, we could maybe have a smaller, but that's a lot of legwork, because we have to shut the river down. That's a lot of communication with DNR and the Coast Guard and getting that done. Insurance, and then having our biggest problem, same as the cities and the counties, is manpower. Me and Kyle are looking at putting a lot of this fencing up ourselves with maybe the help of the wrestling team, because manpower is just so low. We have to find people to put up the race course, and it is not an easy job. You're chucking 4 to 7 cinder blocks tied together over the side of a boat, while a surveyor looks down a scope and tells you where to put it, so it's within so much of a tolerance, and they're pretty serious about how the race course is laid out, so there's a lot, but I think the easier play is to keep adding regatta-related events. We've looked at the possibility of a 3rd day of concerts, a smaller concert on Thursday. We have a very interested investor in that would like to see it and maybe profiteer from it. We've actually been working on that for a few years, but there's just been so much change and so much going on. You can only be effective on so many paths at one time. So I think we would have got logged down if we did too much too fast.
I agree.
Thank you.
Yeah. Didn't we talk about, what other, was it the 5 to the 5? Trying to get them connected somehow? I mean, is that any possibility?
Well, I mean, we are already connected. We show up and help them every year, and
Okay.
they use our docks for free, or they wouldn't have the event. And that's a big expense to us. Right now, we're spending 2,300 to probably 7,000 in new docks a year, because wood's expensive. Has anyone been to Home Depot lately? The
Yeah.
floats are expensive. They come out of Nashville. We have to pay people with a trailer to go down and get them. So that's a big expense, and there's no way that organization could build the docks to do that. And we're happy to let them have them. We've had some back and forth of help, but we have a lot more resources. I know I'm there every weekend to help them. So, we're looking at building some more spider boxes that my company is gonna donate. So any event, welcome to those. Power's always an issue. I know everyone's gonna struggle with some of the new updates downtown and how to get power where, so we're here to support that as well.
And that's key for us to hear. Those relationships that you have, with BMI, with other organizations, that's important for us to know that.
But you can't stand alone on it. I think our organization especially, because it's been the biggest for so long, kind of stood and beat its chest like we're the regatta and everyone should do everything. And we just don't have that mentality now. It's what can we do for you all? That's kind of my take on it anyway. Like, We, and what, 2 years ago, me and Kyle were throwing ice for, Riverfest and down there helping all weekend, like, we'll do whatever needs to be done to help everyone out.
That's great. Okay. Appreciate you guys coming and letting us know. We're all big regatta fans, I'm sure, so.
Oh, that's good for us. I need a few,
Yeah.
man, 'cause I get trashed all the time.
Hey, we are.
Now, as far as the ask goes with the timing, obviously, we just went through our first cycle. And we've got our second one, but it's not until August
Right.
that would come up, so I don't know that we're necessarily in the place to be able to right now vote on that. What thoughts are there, but. Yeah. Okay.
Have you all started putting together an application for the August round yet?
I don't believe so.
Okay, do you have the application form?
If not, we'll get hold of
Okay, I see a hand
I got it.
bouncing up. and
Yeah,
down.
definitely
Yeah,
that can
so
be
we
emailed.
Encourage you to, fill that out and then
Yeah,
we can,
get that
yep,
and get that
yep,
to
that goes
her.
to me,
and
so
then
we can.
have a discussion about that.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
BMI update.
Right.
Andrew.
I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time because we've got, exciting things, with Lucy and Sarah. But did just want to underscore the fact that we did see the increase on the innkeeper's tax, and I think that's a correction coming through. We do have, the annual report, which Sarah will make sure that she, gets out to you, but we're really excited about that, proud of that. And we brought that, out at tonight's Madison board meeting and at the reception. We've been working on a lot of random things. One is the trolley, and I know we've talked about the trolley quite a bit. Visit Madison took over the booking for that. And we are now the booking agent for the trolley, and we're coordinating all those dates and drivers and all of that. It's been a big lift, and so our team's working really hard, but I see a lot of positives there with that, and I've applied for a few grants, hopefully have some good news coming over the course of the next month or so, and we're gonna keep trucking. Like I said, I've got a couple different tracks that I'm working on, short-term, medium-term, and long-term on trolley, and so we'll keep you all in the loop on that, but hopefully at some point JCBT will be interested in supporting the trolleys financially as a part of a capital investment into what we're doing with those.
Well, real quick, Andrew,
Yeah.
I want to ask you, that's exactly the question I was gonna pose is, have you approached or got a quote on what a new trolley would cost?
New one's approximately 200,000.
Okay.
You
Any used ones?
know, some
Overhaul.
used ones, I'm looking at those, you know, what Paul Nicholson always says is it's kind of like a boat, a trolley's kind of like a boat. If somebody's selling it, there's a reason why.
Yeah,
And so, you know, sometimes it's an okay reason, they're getting out of the business or whatever. So I've got feelers out to a couple different trolley brokerage companies just to see what's out there. There's been some decent ones that have popped up in that $50,000 to $100,000 range. I still think they're probably an upgrade over what we're working with, just because, you know, these have been patched together and loved, and they're well loved trolleys. So I'm working on some of that, but it may be some kind of combination of, hey, let's put a new one on order. We know there's about a 9-month lead time on those, but in the meantime, let's try and get something used that we can get here fairly quick and could get up and down the hills. So I'm exploring all that, working on partnerships on what that would look like, because I don't think my board has the appetite for us to own trolleys and become a transportation provider. So it might be a partnership that we have with somebody who would provide that insurance and some liability there, but we would continue to book them and run them. So I'm working on a couple different tracks on that. Sorry, I forgot. It was my report. I got so into that answer.
I wonder, have you,
Yep,
I mean, minibuses at schools?
I was thinking the same thing. What
You know,
about,
they
what
have,
about?
they're not necessarily broken down, they just got so many miles and they have to sell
yes,
them. Not necessarily, I don't know about the local schools, but, just,
Yep.
you also get away from the CDL requirement because it's less than 15.
yep. We've talked about the minibuses and, there's some cool ways to wrap those so that they look like a
Sure.
trolley. We saw the example of that in Franklin, Tennessee last year where they've got their public transit system, all is wrapped. And they're buses, but they look like trolleys. And so it's kind of cool. So we've got some opportunities like that. Some of those minibuses, yeah, aren't in bad shape. And they could do that hilltop, loop going up and down the hills. I still think we probably need a new one or a gently used one, for weddings and things. It's one thing to run a loop, just for visitors trying to get them downtown. You know, the weddings probably don't want the minibus, but if we can use those minibuses as a part of the solution, I'm all for it. We've also talked about like some of those Transit Connect vans. Some of the hotels are using them as like airport shuttles now and wrap those, and they hold 6 to 8 people. When we did the trial last fall, we never had more than a handful coming from Hanover or the Hilltop hotels or Clifty. So, you know, a 6 to 8 seater van that's wrapped well might be an option. So we're looking at all of those. Some of it's coming a little quicker than I thought as far as, you know, you write grants and you think, yeah, it'd be great if if I get this, and then when it comes through, you go, oh, no, all right. It's kind of like the trial this last year that we did, and it was like, oh, JCBT approved that, now we're doing it. Yeah, be careful what you wish for. So we're working on those, but some of it's, I think, gonna be happening a little faster than I had anticipated, which is a good problem.
We're getting phone calls every day to the office about trolley. And it's usually 20 on one group.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's a lot of, conferences, reunions.
Weddings.
There's weddings, but it's more small conference gatherings, retreats. You know, a law firm that's doing a retreat from Indianapolis down here. I mean, those are the kinds of things that we're getting calls about, and the money is not necessarily an object. We go over the rates with them. Just like for weddings, you know, a wedding now is $20,000.
Okay, the noise,
Yeah.
the wedding cost.
Yeah, so, you know, we tell them the rate on the trolley and they're like, well, that's what we gotta do to have a trolley. So it's, there's a lot of potential there, and we're seeing it now every single day.
And another thing is, something to think about for the future, Derby, positioning Madison as, kind of a Derby retreat that's outside of Louisville. The whole hotel was filled with Derby guests, and we had 5 questions, 5 different rooms asked we would have if we had transportation to the Derby. So I just think that might be an opportunity,
Yeah.
To look at in the future, because I think people will be willing to pay for it.
And we had
Derby visitors too.
HMI had Derby visitors. We also heard there were, Valhalla, visitors for the PGA Tour this last weekend that were in Madison. So, we're becoming, that not only a destination by itself, but a place where people want to be when they're going somewhere nearby, which is really a great position to be in.
Yeah.
So, that's about all of my written report here. The other thing I did want to, bring up, I know I had mentioned it one of the last meetings, that we'd done the strategic plan. We sent that out, made sure that you all had a chance to look at it. It just so happened, as we were planning, the meetings this week, that Don Anderson, who I know you guys have all met and talked with, Don was gonna be back. He led us through our strategic planning process. He was coming back to Indiana for another project that he was working on. He said, "Can I come by?" I said, "You know what? This is good timing because we got our Board of Tourism meeting tonight. So if you have any questions about that process or about the actual plan itself, the Visit Madison Board did approved that at one of the past meetings a few months ago. And so we'd love to have the endorsement of Jefferson County Board of Tourism again. And I'll hand it over to Don if he wants to say anything about the plan and this process.
Just a few comments. One, this is a long-term plan. There's no budget implications. We got input from both boards. And there was 15 items over the next 3 years that you said these are priority. Back to BMI, the staff, let us know when you do the annual planning and the budget requests that you need, not only for marketing, but outside of marketing, and that you are even open to additional requests if it's required. And that plan was based on that. So there's 15 items. And Andrew and his team have looked at those things. They put in some things for this year, but it really starts as fiscal year 25, the next 3 years. So you would see anything that was going to be out of that strategic plan would be in the operational plan and the budget request that comes to this board. And Andrew then would highlight that's in our strategic plan. And the strategic plan tends to be a little broader. So when we talk about just the, with regards to product or capital things like all of a sudden transportation and shuttles and so forth, that would be under the 365, which really is a development strategy that's being aligned to your market. So I just wanted to let the board know is that there's no budget implications. You're going to have the specific role in looking at those specific items that are going to be part of the regular operating plan that Andrew presents to you each fall, I think the last quarter. And that way then you'll see the alignment. But I'm certainly open if there's any questions. It was only 2 pages. Remember, I guarantee 2 pages. BMI though has a 20-page document, and you may have got that too, that got into the tactics, because I know a lot of people, well, where's the projects? Where's the programs? What are we going to do with that? This rule was saying, these are the 15 most important ones. By the way, if we go into that, then there's these specific projects that are going to be going forward. So I'll pass it to the board in the sense to the chair. If there's an opportunity, we would hope tonight is a resolution for endorsement of that plan. And as Andrew indicated, the BMI board has approved it. And it's the same strategic plan, but all it says is that, hey, go back, Andrew and team, and tell us which ones can you do and which ones you can't do, given the time, given the people that can do it and monies. So I'll pass it back to the chair there for that.
Thank you. Well, any comment or discussion about the strategic plan? Has everyone gotten it, received it? Yeah, okay. Okay, well.
I would make a motion that we endorse the plan.
Second that.
All those in favor? Alright, motion carries.
Thank you, and I hope you will continue to hold us accountable with it as well. And we talked about it with our board that we want you guys to be saying, all right, so where does this fit into your strategic plan? We come to you with the trolley, or we come to you with another project or initiative, or, you know, a marketing plan, and you say, all right, how's this fit? You know, hold us accountable on it too, as we will hold ourselves accountable. So, thank you.
Thank you for doing that. I know that we've asked for that, you know, strategic plan, so thank you.
All right, BMI marketing. Take it.
I have the wonderful 2023 annual report that is hot off the press. We can want that date there. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want another one? And so what you'll find here, some of you were newer to the table, but last year we put together a 2022 in a very formal way. So this is our 23. So some things look a little the same, but our numbers are increasing across the board. A lot of our strategic marketing things, with our mission that was redone or refined, our visions and things like that were all added to this. We have a new highlights page. Of course, the economic impact report that we gave you guys a couple months ago from Rockport Analytics is highlighted in here with the 60.1 million for 22. A 16.8% up over the previous year. And 10 years, the last report we had in 2012 was a $31.9 million visitor spending, and now it's 60.1, so we're up 88.4% over 10 years. Just to see the growth there in our county. Below there, I broke out the categories that have had the most growth in 22. Entertainment was up almost 20%, food and beverage up 18. So, you know, if you're familiar with last year's report, you can see some of these things, the innkeeper's tax and the numbers and the performance of our guide and our digital guide and the visitor staff overview, visitor center overview, rather. How many visitors we serviced here, all these different things. And of course, from the marketing standpoint, having that extra help, having somebody that's managing the social on a more intimate level, has helped grow our Facebook up 53.1% over the year before. Our Instagram's up 17%, Facebook followers up 19. Our website still is performing excellent, up 78.3%. And it's just growing. Everything, there's just so many things that we're involved in, and it can't only put it on 2 pages. I was told to reduce it.
Sarah wanted 4 or 6.
So, with that being said, I always welcome anybody to, if you ever want to make an appointment to sit down and just see intimately what we do here, or you have questions about something, we're always welcome. We welcome that. But then there's the event overview, just a snapshot of that. And of course, we're working with the Jefferson County Tourism Alliance, and we have all those partners that we value so much. And so we have a page in there with some of their successes, and so that's what that is. This is available online under visitmadison.org connect under resources. So it's there now, flippable, downloadable. If you want that, we do have limited hard copies here. So that was a really big deal since my last report. Lucy's going to go into Motor Trail, which I know you guys are excited about. Some of you already have seen it from being here for the reception and such. But we're just rocking and rolling and everything. We had a travel writer that we collaborated with the Chandler Hotel, and we look forward to seeing what comes of that. I don't know if this board knew, but my associate is taking a position in Paris with the Olympics, and so she's moving on.
Wow.
And so I am now back to square one again. So I have a position out there. It's on Indeed.com, and it's also connected on our resource page in Visit Madison. So if you have somebody that you want to send my way to apply, trying to get those in by this week, so that we can start looking for that talent again. So, but she's been really great about the transition and working from afar if she needed to and things like that. So, did you need a job? You're looking at me like all these eyebrow raising. Okay.
Just got an award, didn't you?
Yeah,
For that, absolutely.
Sorry. So, a big piece of what I've been working on is also what Lucy's been working on, and so we wanted to segue into that. But again, if you guys have any more questions about my report, happy to speak with you, or shoot me an email or whatever.
It's very informative.
Thank you.
It is very informative. Covered the bases. Yeah.
Did?
Very
I was trying to be really
time.
quick.
Just to get over a little business first, I know you guys like to know where your granted money goes to, so I handed out a budget. Does everyone, you have that? Do you need it? There you go. I just wanted to thank you for the $29,000 that you gave us for this project. Majority of it, if you're looking at this, went to content creation. I hired a writer who is also a motorcyclist who wrote for us.
He's a writer.
A writer, Charlie Rothling, did some work for us. And then, Sarah spent a lot of time working, with our website developer who developed our website. We'll go into, the Motor Trail will have its own website as well. So, I've spent a little bit on merchandise. It's been traveling around the country, going to who knows where. I'm trying to track it all down, but we will be having, merchandise both to track, try to track where people are coming from by gathering information from them. We'll have some coins that they can turn in to us to get half-price merchandise. We're trying to figure out how are we going to track these people, because anybody can get on a website and go drive anywhere they
Right,
want. So
right.
how are we gonna track that? So we're working on that, and also the merchandise will be a revenue generator. The goal is to make make this completely self-sustaining, but because it is a new product, we don't know what all expenses are gonna be involved. But we keep changing and tweaking that and trying to figure that out. So we just
So there
wanted to-
won't be a staff person, right? Necessarily besides them coming here to ask
Yeah,
questions. It's not like somebody dedicated to a festival
Right,
or.
I mean, there's
Right.
the back end work of
Yes,
the
just
admin
one
piece of us being engaging on
Yeah.
Sure.
our, the web and the social and all of that, and
Right.
then anything new we do, and the fact that there's continual curating of trails and other future launches.
We can pull back some trails, add new trails. We have tons of flexibility.
Yeah.
Eventually, this will go to press, and we want to have it in a real nice, tight, plan box
It's all digital now.
about
Yeah,
how it's gonna
that's
be,
great.
but for now, it's gonna be all digital. Expenses as far as staff, I see the whole team involved somewhat, navigating the phone calls or answering the emails or, Sarah's always working on something on one of our projects, so I'm sure marketing will continue to be doing some work. We're hoping to make it to where it's, minimal so we can get more done.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get better at it and get more efficient and effective at it, but we'll always be working on it.
Yeah.
There'll always be something going on for it.
Right.
But we're gonna try to keep it as minimal as possible so we can work on our other projects and get those done too. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew we were coming in at about 17,000 spent of that 29. So Andrew and I will be working on potential sponsors or partners to work with. This will be traveling through 9 different counties, 5 in Indiana, 5 in Indiana and 4 in Kentucky. So hopefully we'll be partnering with them. We'll also be really close to a couple casinos. We'll also be very close to, we'll take people directly to the Ark. So we'll get into that once we show this presentation. So
It really
do we need to dim the
go
lights? Are
along.
we good?
Oh, well, this is the name, Reverie Roads. Sorry,
This is
new
the
thing.
Reverie
Go for it.
Roads. And one of the things when Andrew and Sarah and I were working on this project, I told them, I said, I want it to be like a Sunday drive, not where you're behind the Sunday driver and trying to get somewhere, not that annoying. No, but when you're out for a drive and you don't have to be anywhere, you don't have to look at the clock. And also another thing about this is it can be a filler for other things. So like for Regatta, when they were talking about wanting to add more to that week, well, maybe we develop itinerary for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday before Regatta is actually happening, when you guys actually have rooms available. And then we work on an itinerary that will fill those days. So the whole point of this project was always to address off-season, during the week, Sunday, Thursday product. We can sell out most Saturdays. We're pretty good at that. There's still a few weekends that we could probably work on, but in the off-season, but roads are always open. So why not have this project? So Reverie Roads, and then our feature trail will be the Serpent of 62. And when we talk to motorcyclists, they light up at this thought of 1,000 curves in 100 miles. So, this is actually a road that travels on, a majority of it is on 62. It will go through 4 different counties. It goes through, Jefferson, Ripley, Ohio, and Switzerland County. So we really want this to be a regional promotion. If you look at some of the opportunities that Madison, the city has specifically taken on, and the county where they're attracting these major retailers, they're still recognizing that history of Madison being a economic hub. And I think that this is a way for tourism to kind of follow along with that. We need to be confident that we can attract people to Madison. It starts and ends in Madison, every trail. We have 5 trails right now. They begin in Madison, end in Madison. We may be sending them other places, but we are confident that our product is that good that people are gonna stay here and spend money here. Heads and beds, right? Right, guys? So, there's also, 4 other trails besides the feature trail. The, Jacob's Ladder goes through Trumbull County and Carroll County. That is named after, Kurt Jacobs. He brought this idea to us originally in this very room. We sat and talked about this. And Kurt is 81 years old. He has put over 700,000 miles on his body riding a motorcycle. So he was the one that had the idea. He drew up these trails and then we took it from there. So, Jacob's Ladder is named after him. Markland Dam is a very, very simple, not a very long trail, but it goes to Markland Dam. I never knew so much about Markland Dam like I do now, and now people who ride it will know more about it. It actually is a park there where people can watch people going in it, boats going in and out of the docks and barges. But it also travels along the factories that feed a lot of families and take care of a lot of people around here. So that patriotic made in America thing. I didn't know how Charlie was gonna pull it off because parts of it are really pretty and then parts are like, industrial. But he put this fantastic spin on it. So when you go on our website, right now it's gonna be on visitmadison.org. But eventually this whole project will have its own trail.
It should be live by the weekend.
Our website, and they'll both tie to each other, so, link to each other. So the ride to Streamcliff is kind of self-explanatory. I wish every trail that we curated had a really cool place like Streamcliff to go to. We sought out permission from them to use their name. They gave us permission to use their name. And then the ARC goes to the ARC in Kentucky. So it travels through 4 counties.
And that's supposed to say the art loop,
Loop,
and I had
that's all right.
a oops.
It's on the website correctly, so that's okay. This is a forgiving crowd, so. Curviest ride in all creation, coming up with a name. I had the Holy Roller. I was over the road. People thought that I might offend, so, but what was happening was, we were, isn't that hilarious?
I like it. I like it.
So we could, but this is digital, it could change and we could see what happens. So that goes to the ARC. We have not sought out their partnership yet, but we have already made contact with them. My crazy boss sends us on these field trips. We've been to the ARC. It has dinosaurs and it's interesting, the whole concept of both of those, meshed together, but it's a really cool place. But what was happening was here at the visitor center, there were people showing up and they were from Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, all over the place. And they were coming, they had been at the ARC, and then they expanded out to try to figure out where to go, and they ended up here. So we decided, why not try it? So that's one of our original 5 that we'll have.
So this
Go for it.
weekend, we will have presence at the Riverfront Run Car Show. We have some A-frame signage that you've seen maybe out in the visitor center, but that's just a shot here. Oh, Andrew's going to be so kind to bring them in. Just gearing up, getting people excited. I mean, what better crowd to have anything motor related in front of? So rev your engines on rotary roads. And then the other ones, how does 1,000 curves and 100 miles sound to you? You know, get people excited. Those QR codes link to kind of like a tree, a digital tree of website and all the different social handles at each one of those. And then you'll get today a postcard that we are going to be passing out to every car registrant. It's a postcard for them to come back in 2 weeks. We have an official launch and a ribbon cutting on June 8th at 9:30 down at Lamplighter Park. The gazebo there, I think everybody here knows that. But we're hoping to invite. We know last year there was 629 registrants for the Riverfront Run. And so, you know, we have big hopes that the message will get across and that we can invite them back 2 weeks later to be a part of that. So that is, if you go and like and follow these pages, the event is on Facebook, it's on our website. So all of that stuff is live. This is just a little snippet of our Facebook pages. And has anybody ever heard of the Tail of the Dragon in Tennessee?
Yeah.
Right, so that's the concept of the Serpent of 62, is to have that challenge and that this is our Trail of the Dragon.
Yeah.
And so it deserves its own marketing. And so, but we wanted to have it connected and so this is how we've ended up with that, so. As far as the website goes, she had mentioned that it'll always have its place on visitmadison.org, to which it currently is live, and you guys have a press release that I sent out at 3:55 today that you might have already seen. And so that's where it's all living now with GPX files and downloadable turn by turns until hopefully this weekend, when what you see on the right is snippets of what the actual website looks like. These colors are a little bit off. What you see on my screen, but so that is the website. We're really excited about all of this. And of course, that's the postcard image there again, but when we're done with the meeting, we would like to immediately go out to the TV in the foyer here and show you guys a wonderful video that Joey Ernst at Free Will Studios, we partnered with him about 5 weeks ago. And he brought us a beautiful product, and we are just so excited to put it out there. And so it's also in your press release as a link. But when your meeting concludes, we'd like to immediately just go out there and we have it all ready and we'll play it for you.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And thank you for the placer data, because the placer data shows that Memorial Day weekend is the biggest weekend in Madison, Indiana, according to those numbers. And we did not want to miss another Memorial Day.
Well, thank you. I'm sure there are some people in this room who are ready to jump up and down with excitement.
It's very exciting to watch how this all,
Yeah.
I mean, to be able to watch how this has progressed has been
Yeah, it's been,
delightful.
I know it's been
It
a
really
fight,
has.
so thanks for
Yeah,
sticking with it.
sticking it out.
we have had potholes, detours,
Yeah.
bridges out, all kinds of
Sinkholes.
sinkholes. We have had everything go on, and
The roadisms
Give up.
the roadisms of words that she's just
I use
talking
them
about.
all
We
the
use
time.
them without even
all the time.
like thinking about it. And so we thought that would be a funny Uber reel or something. to
Yeah.
do, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So at the car show, Andrew and I will be helping them with registration at 7 a.m. So we will have these invitations for over 600 cars.
That's great.
And that's so cool.
Mhm.
And we're gonna take these A-frames that Sarah's department designed, and we're gonna have those down at the show as well.
Yeah.
The department.
Yeah, the department of one, the department of one. So,
I
yeah.
know
We
you don't
appreciate
have
that.
all of your print materials ready to go yet, but as far as the online stuff goes, if I wanted something that like myself or Matt or any of, or Rini, if we could give to guests so that they can at least see it, what would be the best way to do that?
At the very moment, I would just wait until like after this weekend.
Yeah.
That way we can send them right to reverieroads.travel and, or serpent62.travel.
Okay.
We're investing in new extensions because they, one, it just speaks travel, right? But that'll be the best place is to do that. I mean, right now, we do have it out there for them to do it. If you come, if you have somebody.
Does this QR code go there?
That goes to the Visit Madison site right now.
Yeah.
But this weekend, it's gonna go to their website. I'm gonna switch out the link. So that's a beautiful thing about QR codes. When you pay for the service that you guys so graciously pay for me, I'm able to change that, track it, everything I wanna do. So, so currently it goes to Visit Madison.
Yeah, but when we do have something developed, we'll reach out to lodging
Absolutely.
for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, we
Yeah.
wanna support you in anything. And she's worked on talking points for our staff here. So, we're getting
We
there.
can
Like,
share
there's-
those, so you'll have
Yeah,
them
that'd
for
be
your
great.
staff.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. I have
That'd be
talking
great.
points. I'll
That
send
was
them.
along with it.
Well,
It's a
thank
good
you.
way.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. It's like a.
Oh, we lived there.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have any updates from the Tourism Alliance?
We had a meeting in April. It was after this meeting, because this meeting was early.
after.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
that week, supposed to be
Um,
that week.
So we had a great meeting. It was only supposed to be an hour and a half and it was 3 hours. So we had a lot of stuff to talk about. Some of the alliance members counted. I don't remember what the number was, how many things we had come up.
Oh, was it?
It was 80 some odd at one point.
Yeah, there was over 100, I think, total. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
Things that we're
Yeah.
all doing.
Yeah, and so it was great conversation. We had pretty good attendance too. There's a lot of people there.
There's normally
18.
7 groups represented and there were how many? 11. And there were
11 groups and
18
18 people.
And there
Yeah.
were 18 people there. Normally 7 groups, but 11 there.
Yeah,
It was
so-
great. It was great.
It was really good, and we talked about having Tourism Tuesday event soon, but
Yep.
have we come up with a
Yeah,
date,
I emailed,
Julie?
Julie to ask about a good date
Okay.
and she may have responded or I can't remember
Okay,
whose court that ball was in right
it's not locked in yet.
Is
But
it a
so
plastic ball?
now.
Probably, a tour coming up at Springdale. So, and they're one of our alliance members that's really kind of blossomed in this alliance. So it's a really cool moment to see, they're giving tours down there, they're doing all kinds of things. So if you get the chance to come, I'm sure Andrew will send it all out, but that's the big stuff. We were just catching up and there were a lot of us and it took a long time. So it was
There's
good.
a lot.
It was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, I think, Little Golden Fox and Mad Ticks were kind of the host of that, right?
Yeah.
It's a good meeting.
Thank you. Okay, anything else from the audience? Before we wrap up? No? Okay, so after
Watch
this,
out.
we'll go watch your video, but I'll take a motion to adjourn.
After that. Or no?
I'll motion to
can we-
adjourn.
Can we get it and then we'll go watch the video?
Whatever you wanna do. I was just speaking up. I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Adjourn.
Okay.
No,
Second,
I didn't.
I'll second it.
okay,
When we start
All in favor?
motioning, then we're in trouble.
all righty.
But let's just sit at the table.